Hey everyone, no respawns, hope you're doing well, happy Friday and all that shit. So, we're at Red Rocket. This is the full tour of my Red Rocket I've been building over the last week or two. It's pretty cool, for those of you who obviously want an unnarrated tour, because in this part I'm going to just kind of walk you through everything. There'll be a link in the description and you can skip ahead if you don't want to hear my rambly crap. But without further ado, let's begin. So, firstly, for those of you who don't know, my whole premise for this build was it's going to be kind of like the gun runners of Boston, effectively. So this is kind of a non-allied, well, it technically is, it's part of the supply route, but it's technically, in my headcanon, non-allied to the Minutemen, non-allied to anyone. So, they serve raiders, they serve gunners, they serve the Brothers of Steel, the Institute, whoever. This is basically, completely mercenary, just profit, 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 profit. So the whole theme was I wanted kind of quite more of a transformative build, as you can see. So a lot of you have obviously, most of you in fact, have seen the build videos. But what I went for is actually kind of armoring the truck stop proper and making it look completely different. You can also see I've got guards. Now these guards are from the Unlock 7 Objects mod in the guards section. So I've got a collection of pretty much these guys from Nuka World, and also an alternating, I've got two guys in power armor as well. Those are non-faction guards. Now, just a quick note on these ones, though they do look really, really cool. Currently, they, in the mod basis, so they stand and they'll attack, but they don't patrol at all. And when you, because I was attacked by a load of ghouls earlier, when you're attacked, they tend to stay where they've moved. So the mod is a work in progress, but there are actually other mods as well that have kind of faction-specific guards as well, which you can look for if you just have a gander in the store. So as you can see, it looks really, really cool so far. I'm very pleased with the overall look. I kind of had an idea. The inspiration for this came from when I was reading... I really like my Warhammer 40k books, as you may remember, and I'm a big fan of Necromunda. And it was basically just a description of a similar kind of arrangement, so kind of an arms dealer in one of the Necromunda books called Junction, if I remember correctly. And basically, it was this guy who lived in the edge of town and had set up like this and basically would serve everyone. So you may notice as well, I've got these guys. These are my workers. Now they're all assigned as scavengers, some of them to invisible rugs, I'll show you in a sec. And basically they're all in the jumpsuits and they walk around with wrenches, which looks quite cool. And a couple of them weld when they actually happen to go back to their spot. So let's go inside. So I've got two entrances. This is the first one. I've got my dude Meister there, guarding. This is one of the owner of the shop. It's a couple. Family of ghouls. I like to think that they actually lived in this area since the bombs fell, and they've basically just taken up residence, which makes sense if you think about it, because that's why they would have accumulated so much wealth. So this is them. This is the husband. He obviously works here. He sells the weapons. This is the weapon shop, and I've got an armor shop. They're all level 3. I've got lots of shit. I just wanted it to kind of look quite scrappy. There's junk everywhere. It's quite a mess. I loves it. So we go in here, and here is more stuffs. I had quite fun decorating these, as you can tell. Here's Waifu. She runs the armor store. She does float a little bit. It's really hard to get them. They're on invisible rugs, basically, invisible shop rugs, and sometimes it's a bit difficult to get them to actually... It was either this, or as you can see, her hands go a bit deeper, so she might end up sinking in, but she looks alright. I might sink her rug in a bit more. This is where they actually live, so they've got their little kitchen over here where they do their cookings, and they've got their little computer and stuffs. Their bedroom was a very, very tight fit, so I couldn't decorate it as much as I'd like. So it's just this little setup here, and I've got my bath. The only toilet is just outside, by the way. There's no actual bogs. I was going to actually put a toilet, but I couldn't find a place I actually liked for it. So whenever I do that, I just say, they poop in the bushes. So, yeah. Here is the other entrance. So I've got two entrances for the actual proper thing, as you can see. I quite enjoyed making these. Those of you remember the build videos, they were good fun. Very, very armoured. Very, very cool. So this is the main workshop area. So this is where basically they manufacture all of the weapons. Now, I've tried to make this as noisy as I can. It's still not very noisy. So what I did, for example, is I've got, as you can hear, I've got those spotlights there. Usually I hate those, but I wanted this to kind of sound a bit bustling. Unfortunately, it was really difficult for me to get the fucking dudes to actually work in here, which is frustrating. There are rugs that you can get where they where they're welding. But the problem is those aren't assignable rugs. So what happens is the settlers will just kind of occasionally walk to them as they would walk to, say, a chair, and then they'll just start working at it, so it's a bit annoying. I probably could have put shit tons down and they could just alternate between. That's actually not a bad idea. So all of my workers actually sleep in here as well. So they sleep next to their machines because they're overworked. And I've got my little ammo press here, which is quite cool. It's annoying because it doesn't actually make, I mentioned this in the last video, but it doesn't actually make many. I've got loads of resources in there. I just, used Freemaker to put all of them that required. But you can see I wanted like an actual load of ammo coming out, and it looked really cool, but it like produces one every like 20, 30 seconds. It's got my big generator up here. I replaced, because I did have a fusion generator over there originally, but it wasn't very noisy, so I replaced it, and I've got another generator over here. But I quite like this manufacturing area. The whole area is quite bustling. It's quite noisy as much as I could get it. It's maybe not as claustrophobic as I'd hoped, but there's ultimately limitations of what we can actually do in the game. But it looks cool, and that's the main thing. I'm going to turn that off, or I will forget to do it later. So here we go. So this is the main level. Let's go on the top. So I've got with the guards. There's Godsworth. I really need to go questing with him at some point. I haven't actually quested in ages, but I really like this. I've got another power armored dude here. Is it? Oh, it's that guy. Oh, right, okay, yeah. So I've got 2 power armored guards, by the way. So these are really cool in the USO mod. They're basically, they look grand. But currently, to its status, I would like it if maybe they you could assign them to a spot and they would just kind of stay within that little area. But right now, they actually stand completely stock still. You can talk to them, and they have dialogue lines, and they do attack, as there were loads of other corpses still here. Loads of dead ghouls. There, I see the loads of dead ghouls, which is great because I'd done the weapons glitch and therefore couldn't actually kill any of the ghouls when they attacked. So here's my kind of area, the place where we can peep and watch the road. I really like this build. It's very cool. My last 2 builds, my last 3 actually, if anything. So the castle, Kingsport Lighthouse, and Red Rocket. I've just gone for really transformative looks. So there are these 2 guys here. When we got attacked, oh, there's one of my workers as well, who's not bloody working. Oh, she is. She's actually scavenging. When we got attacked, because obviously, again, with USO mod, these guys kind of wheel around, so they were all, like, stuck in here where they tried to shoot over the wall. It's very funny, but they look cool, so it's grand. So, basically, this is where the guards sleep. So, I've got 4 beds in each one. So, you can see it's just kind of your standard bunker affair, full of loads of junk. It's all good. Thank you for letting me pass, love. Yeah. Same here. They're pretty much the same thing, just decorated a bit differently, which is cool. So that's 8 guards, which is grand. And this is just kind of more stuffs. Got really good views. This is I tried to assign a guard post up here, but every time I did, someone kept falling through the floor. So this is more just for me personally, just to look over. It's got quite a commanding view. I quite like this. You can really look over. You can even see my sanctuary from here. Though obviously this is PS4, so none of the actual building elements have rendered in. I imagine had I walked over to sanctuary, rendered it in, then came back, I could see it, but at least currently right now. So that is my Red Rocket. I'm quite pleased with it. It's quite a small area, so ultimately this tour is pretty short comparative to others. But it looks really, really cool. I'm quite pleased with how the whole thing turned out. It's very transformative. I haven't seen a Red Rocket like this. It definitely fits my vibe, and it's cool because now I've got to sit down and just finish Sanctuary at some point of this version. But it's cool because I like having my kind of more earlier settlements finished off. Like I hadn't polished this one off at all, and it was kind of bothering me. So it's quite a transformative look. There's my guys. I love these dudes. Just walk around with their wrenches. They're grand. It's a really good way, by the way. If you want scavengers to not look ridiculous, yeah, give them wrenches, yeah, because it makes more sense, kind of way. I don't know, because they don't really, actually leave the area. They just kind of work around. Anyway, so yeah, I hope you guys like that. There'll be an unrated tour coming through in a moment. As always, follow me on Twitter at norespawns. I'll have new videos up soon. Got to decide where we're building next. I'm leaning towards Abernathy because, well, it's just over there and I haven't touched it on this save at all. But I will have a ponder. You guys enjoy your Friday and enjoy your rest of your weekend too. You take care.